All right, let's talk about Travis Hunter, a player that is one of the most interesting prospects I think I have ever seen. In this video, we're going to talk about him both as a receiver and as a corner. Let's start off with him as a corner. So he is on defense right here, going up against a guy who's going to be running a go route down the field. Having a corner who can cover this route is often the first thing you look for in evaluating a cornerback prospect. Well, when this play begins, you're going to see how Hunter likes to play, which is he's not afraid to kind of let the receiver lead the route. And part of why he can get away with this is because of his speed. Very fast corner. He's a 4.3 guy, so like being able to kind of, trust his speed if he needs to recover is what he can do. Now there's a disadvantage to this, right? Which is you see now he's playing the receiver. So how does he know if the ball is going to come in his direction? Well, watch what he does. Watch how he keeps a hand on the receiver but looks back towards a potential throw in that direction. So keeping his hand on the receiver, it's not a penalty. You're allowed to make contact as long as you're not, making a forcible contact. And that way he can still play the football. And he does this really well in zone coverage as well. This play, for example, it's cover 2 zone, so he's on that side of the field, the white zone, that's where he's supposed to cover. He's impressed against the route you see on the screen. Watch how when this play begins, again, kind of lets the receiver lead the way, but he's keeping his head turned around. And here he's going a little bit shallower than he would in man because of the fact that it's zone. And he essentially knows where he can cover. He can cover it at 5 to 15 range. If the quarterback tries to throw it, well, he's going to cover anything underneath, and he trusts his safety to cover further down the field. Once again, the ball is not going to go in this direction. That's the thing when watching Travis Hunter film is you don't see the ball go to him a lot. Teams kind of just knew, let's just not even try that side of the field. So that almost made the film evaluation a little bit tougher, but ultimately it's a credit to Hunter, right? And also when he is in coverage, he is not an easy guy to lose. So let's see this play. It's a zone coverage concept. Again, he's going to allow the receiver who he's going up against to kind of, run, not past him, but just start his route, and then he's going to just keep up. At this point, you see, though, that, okay, the receiver's going to cut more over the middle. Hunter has outside leverage. You would think that could be an issue. However, when he cuts over the middle, Hunter hangs with him. Again, he has that great speed, and speed is so important when we're talking about corners that he is able to essentially keep up. The reality is he just has great, he's a great corner. He's a great corner prospect. He has great footwork. He doesn't get ran by. He has speed, but he's also always looking for the ball and willing to make a play. Really, there is only one major critique I would have with him, and it would be this, which is, he's a smaller guy. He just is. He's 6'1", but 185, so definitely on the skinnier side here. And again, for corner, you can live with that, but still, let's see how it was in a game. It's going to be a running play right here, and I know some people don't even watch running tape when you're looking at a corner, but ultimately, this does matter. You don't have to be great at it, but if you're bad at it, teams will notice, and they'll kind of take advantage and essentially take you out of the game by running towards your direction. Here, you're going to see Hunter. Okay, listen, no one's going to accuse him of being Mel Blount here, but, doesn't have an amazing rep or anything, but hey, when the play went to him, he was able to make the tackle, and that's all you need. Would you like more? Sure, you would like more, but that's all you need, and Hunter will give that for you. To me, the size is more of an issue when it comes to offense, like right here. So now he is going to be in, this is an offensive play, so you see where he is on the field. He is the receiver now. The corner that's going up against, who is a smaller corner, by the way, uses some contact just to disrupt his route enough. Now, this was a setup route to get something else going on, but still, that is something you see with Hunter. When he goes up against more physical corners, this kind of thing can happen. And so, okay, that's just a negative. It is. But now let's talk about some of the positives. And I got to say, I don't know if I've ever seen... Well, let me show you a play, and then I'll talk about it and gush over it. So first, the play itself is simple, right? Just one of those routes going underneath the zone coverage, kind of a check down type route. Shedeur Sanders is going to take the snap. He ultimately looks in Travis Hunter's direction right here. And, okay, as of right now, there are several players who are trying to tackle him, and Hunter can't even look back towards them. He doesn't even really know where they are, but he has an idea. And watch how he uses that nifty footwork to get around not just him, but a couple other guys. I mean, look, right here, look at all those guys he juked out. What a great play, right? Well, wrong, because this play is just getting started. Watch how he now shows off that speed and is able to run by even more players until he finally gets taken down at around the 10-yard line or so. And, again, a critique of Hunter will, I think, fairly point out that how well will this work at the NFL level? Yes, you're making guys miss at this level, but it is a different level of competition, and he wasn't exactly playing in the SEC either, so that's also fair to say. But ultimately, I mean, the moves will work out. Like, you see the shiftiness, you see the athleticism, that will still work in the NFL, you would assume. Also, something like this, where it's going to be a zone coverage play. Again, a simple play, just get into a gap in coverage towards the top of the screen. As you see, Shedeur Sanders is going to take the snap. You look over, Sanders is under pressure, but he's going to be able to fire one to Hunter, who kind of was able to get open and could have been better defended a little bit by the defense. But nonetheless, that wasn't the impressive part of this play. Travis Hunter has a catch here, and realistically, he should just be running out of bounds, and this play should be over. But again, watch the shiftiness to juke out both of those defenders and this other player while at a top speed, and ultimately is able to just step into the end zone for a touchdown. Again, these are high-level plays for someone like Travis Hunter. I mean, this is just incredible. There are other aspects of his game that I just really like. As a wide receiver, I do think he finds openings in zone really well, and I do think his footwork can help him as a route runner. I do have to say, so like the two comparisons I can think of with how shifty he is, the first one is Tyreek Hill, a guy who I think people compare to a lot because he's probably best known for being the speed threat who can also move while at a top speed really well. The other guy I thought of was Kadarius Toney, who was also amazing at this in college, didn't quite work out at the NFL level. Maybe that was off the field or in between the ears stuff, but maybe it wasn't, right? That is the other thing that you look at, is will all these moves work at the NFL? And the reality is, that's the case with everybody, is you never know. There always is, even if you did play at Alabama or when you're playing against really good corners consistently, there still is a massive jump between a good college corner and a good NFL corner. You never know. And part of why I think Travis Hunter is such a good prospect, and why me personally, I think that he would be my number one non-quarterback prospect, is because I just think that he is someone that you have two shots with, right? If you draft him at corner because you feel like he's a top 5 corner and it doesn't fully work out, well, now you can try him at receiver. And if you draft him at receiver and it doesn't fully work out, well, now you can try him at corner. You essentially get two shots here, which is not what you get with other players. Now, when it comes to where should he play, I do think I like him a little bit better as a corner prospect than as a receiver. I also think that if you put him at corner, you can have him play reps at receiver as well. And I don't know. I mean, I guess this is just one of those areas where me not being a former NFL player, if you can't tell by looking at me, I think the issue is I don't know how this works. Part of me almost feels like it's a waste to only have him play one position when he was so good at playing both in college. Like, can you try him at both positions? And to be honest, I kind of feel like, to me, what I want out of Travis Hunter is for him to play as many snaps as possible. Can you try it? See how much you can build up to. Maybe try him at corner, play him at receiver, and try and build him up to play more and more at receiver. I understand the concern of if he gets injured and things like that, more hits, all of that stuff. It's not exactly a Shohei Ohtani situation because, in baseball, you can kind of do both. It's not adding wear and tear on your body. But hey, Hunter did both in college. Do you maybe have him not play on first downs and then play on second and third downs in both corner and receiver to have him not have to play as many running plays as possible? I don't know. All I would say is I would draft him, and I would figure it out. And I think that it's a good problem to have, a guy who can play multiple good positions, that if he ends up being great at both, that's not a problem that you don't want to have. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Travis Hunter. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.